They survived the upset with a 3-set run to win in 5.
The block by Purdue, and the Boilermakers are moving on.
Opportunity here. Where do they go? In the middle. Coleman got it.
Welcome back to the Dig City Podcast. It's been a few months since we talked, but glad to be back with you. Corey Palm alongside Coach Dave Shondell. And Coach, happy to have the Dig City Podcast brought to you by Franciscan Health, the official exclusive healthcare provider of Purdue Athletics. I know you guys are in the heart of spring season right now. Just it's been a few months. How are things going?
Very excited, as always, when you start a new season. And we have 4 incoming freshmen already arrive, and that's made things even more interesting and has filled our gym with even more really quality characters that are working hard to improve their game. But last season I thought finished very well for us. We had a really good campaign coming off of back-to-back Elite Eights. We did not match that finish, but we also lost a ton of players the year before, and I thought the players that we had came back with not a lot of experience, and one freshman that jumped in and a couple transfers. We really manufactured a really good season for our fans and for the memories of our players. So now this is a different setup. Certainly we lost some key players. You have Maddie Cook, who's going to go into graduate school. You've got Grace Balanceifer, who's off into the real world getting a job. You've got Hannah Clayton, who's going to go play professionally. Emma Ellis is going to go play professionally. Ava Torrance is going to go to Wake Forest and play on their squad as a 5th-year kid. And then Maddie Chin going to Northwestern, who, by the way, we're going to be playing here on Saturday. She will not be with them. She's still with us right now. She's still on the Boilermakers side. Okay. I'm sure she'll be at the match. But so you lose a lot of really good players, but we really feel like we're loaded for bear right now with what we've got. And to have those players come early has been beneficial for them. It's been beneficial for us to get them into the gym. But our environment right now in the gym has been fantastic because we have a lot of those players that I just talked to you about that are going to continue to play, even though they graduate in the spring. They're in there working out with us. We have 3 or 4 practice guys off the men's club team that show up to give us a big physical presence. And then we have 15 players of our own. And so I just think it's a fabulous environment for our team to grow and get better and to create a lot of intensity in our gymnasium.
It's kind of unique. A lot of times your spring roster between injuries and maybe some off-season surgery recovery time, outgoing seniors sort of moving on, and incoming freshmen not usually a part of the club yet. Sometimes numbers are way down in spring. It makes it harder to compete, but it's pretty cool to have the opposite this year.
Yeah, and I think we've had some of our best practices of our time here in the 20-plus years that we've been here. This is the 21st spring season that we have had for our coaching staff. And, we give John Shondell a lot of responsibility to kind of orchestrate the practice, put the plan together. We have conversations about what's important and what we need to do. But I have so much trust in him that I feel like his ability to put a practice plan together. And then once we get in the gym, everybody kind of has their own roles and responsibilities. And, it's going really, really well. And we're seeing tremendous progress from this team.
That's excellent to hear. You mentioned the 4 freshmen, and we'll get a little bit into the roster, as we unfold here. But to have all 4 of them be able to come in early, how special is that? And I know that's sort of a growing trend in college athletics in general, and in volleyball certainly. But to have 4 new kids say, I want to show up in January and let's get going. How special is that, and how much different has that made this spring?
Well, you mentioned it seems to be a sign of the times. I know that when I was in school, nobody asked me to come early anywhere, and we haven't asked these players to come early. They recommend it to us, and we always are more than happy to have them come in. the scholarship players may not necessarily be on scholarship unless one is opened up. Somebody would have to leave after the fall semester. So sometimes it's on their dime to come here early, but so beneficial for them to get ahead of the curve, to understand what life is like on a college campus and where things are, where the classes are, what the routine is like. So I think that they will benefit from that. But that's not to say that the players that have not gotten here are going to have an issue with that. I mean, they're going to come in and be fine, just like our players have in the past. But for us to have 4 is a lot in 1 year. I think we've had 2 before that came in early. But I do think it's a sign of the times, and I think it's been helpful for both parties.
Who of the returners has really stepped up in a leadership role? Because, like you said, there's a lot of faces who fans have gotten used to seeing over the years who aren't going to be a part of the club anymore. Who's stepped up and filled that void?
Well, I think a lot. As you know, we're a player-led program, so it takes everybody to be on the right page and work together. But Meg Renner is somebody that is clearly become different now that she's in her 5th year, her senior campaign. She is playing at a very high level. And to me, it's remarkable that from the fall, when she had a couple of injuries that impacted her some, and there was competition from Balancey and I never really felt she got comfortable in that role. I thought she played well, but I didn't think she ever felt like it was her job and that she was in charge. And now this spring, it's totally different. And her play has elevated, I think, just because of her confidence and her ability to know that this is her time. And she's, we're playing really well. Our hitting percentages have skyrocketed since the fall. And I'm talking about, we haven't played anybody, but in practice, we stat like everybody else does. We've got a guy, Michael Burrell, who's our analytics guy and our stat guy and our video guy and everything else. And he keeps us up to date every day, every night after practice, what those stats were, and he adds them to everything else. And so we know where we're at compared to a year ago. And we're probably hitting 125 points higher than we were a year ago at this time. And, a good part of that is the fact that Meg Renner is really delivering a great ball. And she's always set the outside hitters pretty well, but middles had been an issue. Not anymore. She's really delivering a great ball. And so I think she is, certainly one of those players that's taking charge and providing great leadership. Maddie Skimmerhorn comes back for what's her 5th year. They both came in together in that same class. There were 6. 4 of them now are moving on, but those 2 remain to take, in one case, Skimmerhorn taking advantage of the COVID rule, and Meg Renner is just taking advantage of her redshirt season that she had as a freshman. And so obviously with the age of those people, they're the oldest that are here. They're taking charge. Raven Colvin, a very confident leader and a no-nonsense individual when it comes down to getting things done. So I think that's kind of where it starts with them. Hudson and Chloe Chacoin, of all people. Chloe's been here now for about 6 or 7 weeks. Does not lack leadership ability. She may be one of the most natural and assertive leaders I've ever been around at any time, anywhere. She's remarkable. Eva Hudson is totally different than she was when she arrived in the fall. Playing with great confidence, determined to make this team great, to do whatever she has to do. But we have a lot of others that are involved in that as well. But that's just a few to kill some time today. Definitely.
Chloe Chacoin, like you said, one of the freshmen that's joined the team. You've got Rachel Williams, you've got Kenna Woolard, and Julia Kane, who came in and have joined the team, and not only getting great reps, getting the full roster and the full enough roster in the spring, but getting that experience at the college level. I know they all played high level club and certainly excelled on their high school teams, but this is different. To be able to get a feel for this early, I think can only be positive in the fall, correct?
Well, we hope so. That's kind of what the mindset is with our team, is that certainly we'll have Grace Haney from Nebraska coming in, and we'll have Taylor Anderson from the state of Texas, and they're both highly touted. I think top 40 recruits in the country. I think one might be in the top 20, one might be about 35, which recruiting rankings right now today really don't mean a lot to me. I don't know who all's involved with that, but I know that they're really good players, 6'2", 6'1", good athletes that we're looking forward to getting here on campus. But still, even without them, we feel like this team is very capable. We look forward to what they're going to add to us. But I'll just talk briefly. Julia Kane out of the Orlando, Florida area. 6 foot, but a backcourt player, really quick, serves the crap out of the ball, just a really aggressive individual, plays with kind of a nonchalant style, which a lot of that's good. She's carefree. She doesn't feel any pressure. There's some things I think we can improve with her, her ability to be a little more ready to make plays all the time. But she's been a breath of fresh air to come in our program. Rachel Williams, right here out of Westside High School, very skilled individual. Has had a good background in the sport of volleyball, gets it. She understands how to play the game and the level that she needs to be at to be in here. So those are the two backcourt players that have come in. Kenna Woolard was the player of the year out of Illinois. I think she may have set or was second to the most kills ever in the state of Indiana. Just a phenomenal individual. As far as people on our team, we have none better. And she's come in here and has taken advantage of this opportunity to learn. She knew that it's a steep climb to go from high school and club into the Big Ten, but she has tackled it, and we're seeing great progress from her. She's playing both the left side and the right side position, and has not played a ton of what we call the opposite spot, but she's really figuring that out. Tremendous blocker. She broke the record for kills in Illinois, but she's a tremendous blocker as well. She's probably 6 foot ½ inch, but plays much bigger than that. She's probably a 10-3 jumper. And then the other one, Chloe Chacoin out of McCutcheon High School here, was the state player of the year the last 2 seasons, and may have been the best high school volleyball player in the state that I've ever seen. And I've been watching it for a long time. And be honest with you, Corey, we didn't know what that was going to transfer to, being the best high school player in the state and then coming to the Big Ten and having to compete against women that are 6'8", 6'9", like we see in our league. You just don't know what that's going to be like. But she spent 1 hour in our gym before I realized that she was going to be very, very successful at this level. And her numbers indicate that. And as I mentioned, we've got guys who are 6'5", 6'4", 6'3", and 6'2" in our gym that are trying to block her. And occasionally they do. All right. But she learns so fast and she competes so hard that she finds ways to get, balls off the block or past that block. And her hitting numbers are very good so far.
That's excellent to hear, and great additions to the program. Has there been anybody who's surprised you this spring with their performance?
Well, we saw Lizzie Carr coming during the fall. That's a red shirt, in her first year here on the campus, but did not play this season. And we really felt, near the end of the season, she could have helped us in some capacity on the floor, but we weren't going to burn the red shirt, late in the year. But she's a really talented athlete, really bright, motivated player at 6'6". Maybe her and Sheridan Atkinson, probably 2, tallest players that we've ever had here. But she works hard. She's somebody that is going to be on the floor some for us this spring and into next fall. I think our fans will be excited to see her. Emily Brown, numbers-wise, is ranked second of our ball control players, with passing and defensive and serving areas. And so, she very quietly but steadily is improving and doing a lot of really good things for us. And, Lourdes Myers playing well. Brielle Warren, another redshirt kid. I'll get back to Lourdes in a minute. But Brielle, who redshirted along with Lizzie Carr, just in the last couple of weeks has really started to see the light. And we also have kind of been putting her back and forth between left side and mostly in the opposite position, because that's the one spot we really have to fill. We had a variety of people there last year between Maddie Cook and Maddie Chin, and they're gone. So that's a spot that we have to fill. We also have Grace Haney coming in. That's a natural right side player, but we're playing Kenna and Brielle over there quite a bit, and they're both making very, very solid progress. Lourdes Myers is just embracing this opportunity right now this spring. It's finally her time, to be able to get out there and get on the floor. And she's worked really hard. She, as we've talked about before, had a medical redshirt her first year, redshirted her second year, played a little bit last year, especially late in the season, had a really good match at Louisville in the last match of the season. Mm-hmm. And now, she's chomping at the bit to get out there and prove what she can do.
I know you talked all last fall about how she was on the cusp and just inches away. It'll be great to see her continue to grow into that.
Well,
for sure.
The competition, Corey, in the middle is fierce right now.
Yeah.
And so instead of backing away from that, she's attacked it. And the level of effort that she's putting forth is a lot of fun to watch. And I will want to mention also Allie Horning, who has been a very consistent performer for us for 2 seasons, and will be counted on heavily to hold down a backcourt spot for us. And she may not play the same position. Middle back was where she played a lot last year. She's competing for the libero spot with Maddie Skimmerhorn. I would say Emily Brown's competing for that spot as well. But somewhere Horning has got so much athletic ability and experience on the floor that she'll be a valuable performer. And then Sydney Yim, who actually went on the portal. Interesting story. She went on the portal because we suggested that she do that because she was just not sure what her role was going to be here. And I said, well, we'll support you on the portal and see what happens. And she had some offers from some Division I quality schools, but she just really felt this was the place she needed to be. And somehow between the fall and the spring, she just became so much more comfortable in her own skin. And she's playing so much better for us. So she's given us 2 really good setters on the floor this spring, and didn't play a lot last year in her first year of being able to play. But I think that you'll see her on the floor this spring, even though our competition is going to be fierce that we play this spring, the 4 matches. I think you'll have an opportunity to see her play as well.
We're going to talk about that upcoming competition, those 4 matches, right after this word from our sponsor.
The Dig City podcast is presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine, inspiring health. Franciscan is the official medical services provider of Purdue Athletics. Now back to the show.
Big thank you to Franciscan for sponsoring the Dig City podcast. Coach, speaking of the Franciscan and medical issues, I know we mentioned earlier you've got a pretty full roster right now, but sometimes you can have, those off-season surgeries that lead to some roster holes. Do you have anybody dealing with that?
We love our folks at Franciscan. They're huge Purdue volleyball fans. So many of them come out to support our program, and we appreciate their taking care of us on this program as well. But yeah, I forgot to mention this earlier, but Emily Rastovsky, who's been developing well for us for the past 2 seasons, and somebody that was kind of the heir apparent to maybe fill that right side spot and still have that opportunity. She is missing some time right now. Will be out for probably the next 7 weeks or so with some medical issues. We can't get into any detail on that, but it's not something serious. We're glad that the doctors found it because she was having some issues, but that's been taken care of, and she'll be back before the school year is over and be working out with our team.
It's great to hear. I know she's another one that was on the cusp of breaking through last fall. So
Emily's
with her back.
Just a great individual that's got good athletic skills, and it can play either pin for us and can even play in the middle if given the opportunity. And late in the season, we felt like we could play her about any time. So it's too bad that she's missing some of this time of training, but she'll pick it up really soon when she gets back here in probably May.
Okay. Well, let's get to the spring schedule. Matches come fast and furious here, starting this week. You guys, you head down to Indy to play Ball State on Wednesday, and then we'll talk a little bit about that match with the Cardinals before getting into match 2, which happens to be in Holloway Gym this Saturday. So the week ahead for your Boilermakers should be a challenging one in a couple of great environments.
Yeah, it's a really big week for our kids to show what they can do. They've been working really, really hard, and we feel really good about them. So, we may be surprised when we play this weekend. There may be some things that we're going to realize that we didn't spend enough time on, or that we need to work a lot more on. But we go to the academy down in Indianapolis, and we're going to play Ball State. A year ago, we went down there and played Ball State, and we had this young team, and Maddie Cook had just twisted her ankle the night before, and I knew we were susceptible, and I was right. We got beat, I think, 16-14 in the fifth set by Ball State. Keep in mind, they had gone to the NCAA tournament the year before and had beat Michigan. They went to the NCAA tournament again this year, so they're a really good team. They have probably 85% of their team back from last year. So we know that they'll be a really competitive match, and it's always exciting to play Ball State. And that's sold out down there. It's a unique situation. It's at a club, so they don't have tons of seating, but they're going to have about 1,000 people there. And that will be really, really neat. And those tickets sold out in about 20 minutes down there. And then the match here against Northwestern is the only match that's not sold out that we're playing. And so our Purdue fans that are here on campus or in the West Lafayette area will have that opportunity. There's not going to be tickets sold. It's free. And so, until somebody calls the dogs off, we're going to let people in. And, hopefully that afterwards our athletes will hang around and be able to meet the fans and get to know them, because we have a lot of new faces. And I just think this is a team that our fans are going to fall in love with, because they compete. I'm not worried about anything with these guys. I just feel like they know what needs to be done. They go about their business. They have a lot of fun together. I love walking into the gym to coach these guys, as do all of our coaches on our staff. So I think our players really need to come out and get an opportunity. If they're in town this weekend, they don't want to miss that 2:00 start with a Big Ten opponent like Northwestern.
Definitely. And if you can't make it to West Lafayette, that Northwestern match will be live on Big Ten Plus as well. So live streaming option for you if you can't make it to campus. No reason not to try and get over to campus, though. Like you said, free admission to see one of the best volleyball teams in the country with your own two eyes, and to see those newcomers for the first time in person. So that's week one. Week two doesn't get any easier. You go back off campus to take on Kentucky down in Columbus, Indiana. You said Columbus East High School, and then wrap things up against Wisconsin up at in the region at Lake Central High School. Talk about the challenge of facing the last two of the last national champions.
Right. Texas won the national championship this past year, but
yeah.
It was Wisconsin the year before that and Kentucky the year before that. And those are a couple of All-State alumni coaching those teams. Craig Skinner, who actually was an assistant coach for me back with the Munciana program. He played at Ball State for my dad, grew up with my brother John. So we know Craig really, really well, which is why we love to play them during the spring when it really doesn't matter a whole lot. We don't like necessarily
see them in the fall.
But we probably will this fall, just as a heads up to some people. But and then that will be at Columbus East, and they sold that match out really quickly. So it's kind of it's not halfway between us and Lexington, I don't think, but it's close enough that both teams could get down there and play on a weeknight, and fans can come out and watch from the Indianapolis area, the southern part of the state. And one of the things that's been so neat about our spring schedule is we're playing 4 really good opponents, but they're all inside the Boilermakers state. So that's something I want to try to continue to do, is go to different corners of Indiana and let the Purdue fans come out and watch this team play. And then after we play Kentucky, who is going to be really, really solid again this year, in Columbus, then the final Sunday, is that April 16th or 20th?
April 16th, yep.
April 16th, we finish our match schedule for the spring at Lake Central High School. We play the Wisconsin Badgers, who will be a heavy favorite to win the Big Ten next fall. They don't graduate much of anybody, plus they pick up an all-American player from Northwestern. So they will be really, really good. And it'll be a great measuring stick for us to go up and play the team that probably has as much talent as anybody in the country on that date, April 16th. They're going to have about 3,500 people up there for that. It's that match sold out in 20 minutes. Now it was free. It was free, so it's sell out, but you had to order their tickets on the internet, and that sold out in about 20 minutes. So that'll be a exciting crowd to play for.
No doubt. I know a lot of times up and coming sports, the coaches take it upon themselves, take it as a challenge, take it as a duty, really, to grow the sport and to foster it, into something greater than it was when they entered. I know that's your family history. That's something that was very important to Dr. Don, and it's been very important to you. And you're kind of in the middle of watching it flourish right now with this kind of interest across the state, across the region, the booming numbers across the country. Is it gratifying at all? Have you reflected on that very much?
I wouldn't say that I've reflected a lot. I just enjoy the explosion that we're seeing, not just in the women's game, but the men's game as well. I probably pointed this out to you before. The boys volleyball is the fastest growing sport right now at the high school age. The women's girls volleyball at the high school is the most popular team sport that there is. The TV coverage has just accelerated that growth. It used to be, I'm telling you, 15 years ago, you couldn't find a volleyball match on TV.
Right.
Now it's impossible not to find a volleyball match on TV. And that's really helped, I think, educate people and get them to understand what a great sport that it is. And as you know, we've sold out about every match at Purdue for the last 5 years. It's hard to get a ticket to watch us play. And I think one of the things that we're working with our administration is, what are we going to do here? How are we going to get more people the opportunity to come watch this team play? Because we're not going anywhere. I'll tell our fans right now, this is going to be good volleyball at Purdue for the next 3 or 4 years. I can't speak much longer than that because I don't know who those players might be, but I can tell you that the players we have lined up right now for the next 3 or 4 years to be wearing the black and gold for Purdue, we're going to compete with anybody, and it's going to be fun. And I just think, how do we take advantage of that situation so our fans can watch this team play, because we can only get right now 2,500 in Holloway Gym. They're talking about bringing some more seating in there, but until I see that, I won't know for sure what that's going to be like. We've talked a little bit with people about playing some matches in Mackey, but there are some problems with that. The video cameras for the challenge review that we have in the Big Ten, that was an issue last year. I don't know exactly why, but that was the reason we couldn't play in there last year. And then I also know, you're conflicting with basketball, and, basketball, that's their practice facility. And so you don't want to keep those people out of their facility any more than you want to. But on the other hand, we have to find a way to let the Boilermaker Nation watch this team play.
That is certainly the challenge. The challenge going forward. It's one thing a lot of folks say, well, it's a good problem to have. What you don't realize is good problems are still problems, and sometimes creative solutions need to be called for. But hopefully we can do that and sort of expand, the growing fan base, that opportunity to really enjoy the Boilermakers.
That's the plan, Corey.
All right, Coach. I think we've done all we can to preview the spring. We'll be back to recap the spring matches. Again, a reminder, this Saturday, come out to Holloway Gym if you can. The Boilermakers take on Northwestern. 2 p.m. is the start time there. Is it going to be a sort of a straight match? What can fans expect? They're going to be – I know there's a little more flexibility.
I think we'll try to play 5 sets regardless of the outcome. So if one team would win 3-0 or 3-1, I think because both teams have large rosters, and Northwestern's traveling all the way down here, we would want to play probably 5 if we can. I know that's what I would like to do. I haven't talked to Shane Davis, the head coach there, but that's what I would like to do.
Excellent. Good chance to come see the Boilermakers take on the Wildcats and get that volleyball itch scratched a little bit. August is still a long time away, so we gotta get it in while we can.
Well, we look forward to that, and we'll have some announcements on social media, what our athletes are going to be able to do to get to know our fans during that particular day. But it'll be a great day of volleyball, and like I said, we're looking forward to kicking this thing off on Wednesday down in Indianapolis.
Looking forward to seeing it, Coach. We'll catch back up with the fans here in a couple weeks to talk about the spring and maybe take a peek ahead at the fall schedule. I know there's some exciting things on the horizon. We might be able to talk a little bit more about that in a few weeks.
Well, they're going to love that fall schedule. I can promise you that. We're not allowed to release it yet, but a lot of home matches against NCAA tournament level teams. So it'll be fun to be in the what used to call the boiler box many years ago, before the air conditioning came in, and now it's just Holloway Gym.
Can't wait, Coach. Good luck. Good luck against Ball State and every other match down the road. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Thanks, Corey.